What's good, everybody? It's that time of year again where we're getting another Doernbecher freestyle collection. One of the most iconic collaborations with Nike that's been going on for years. The same collaboration that's given us grails such as the Doernbecher 4s and the Doernbecher 8s. Now, with this year's lineup already being rolled out and us recently getting an official release date coming out on December 2nd, everybody all across the internet has already picked out their fan favorite, and it just has to be those Jordan 3s. Now, with everybody having a fan favorite, this doesn't give you the right to diminish the other shoes in this collection, because what most people don't know is that the message behind the Doernbecher collection reveals a heartfelt story. So that's my job in today's video, is to introduce you to the kids and their stories and all of the work that goes behind making these shoes, and also the do's and do nots before purchasing this collection. So with that being said, let's get into the video. First, we have Christopher, a 14-year-old boy born in Winston, Oregon. His favorite sport is football. His favorite hobbies is woodworking, and the perfect day for him is spending the day at the beach with his family. Unfortunately, he had a traumatic accident while he was younger that caused him to have his leg amputated, and I have a video that goes into depth with it.
Chris was 13 when this accident occurred.
Chris was hit by a car last September. He had a traumatic amputation of his left leg. He also had an aortic transection, hemorrhagic shock, and abdominal compartment syndrome. And any one of these injuries could have killed him.
Sheer amazement that he was still with us.
The first thing that came to my mind was like, is he going to be able to cope without his leg?
I would say he took it hard.
Because he wasn't going to be able to play his football games.
My Doernbecher care team, they really mean a lot. They were really nice to me. Now I see doctors at Doernbecher's on video every 3 to 6 months.
Now that is a little insight on Chris, and Chris decided to go with the Nike Go Fly Ease. The main function of this model is to help aid with the ability to put on the shoe for handicap, and it also reflects his love of Japanese culture and features a kimono-inspired wrap design and a cool graphic of Mount Fuji on the tongue. And be sure to check out the inside where you'll find a friendly panda hanging out with Chris on the beach. As for the phrase "smarter than you think" on the sock liner, that's a nod to his passion for math. He quotes, "I'm already doing algebra at the 11th grade level," he says proudly. And now I'll show you guys a clip of Chris being able to work with the Nike team on his designs.
I don't think he slept that whole night.
I think it looks pretty cool. I'm also designing a jersey and a hat. I chose to have dude on the back of it because that's what my grandpa always calls me. The coolest part of freestyle was working with my Nike team. I feel like we get along really well.
So as he continues to recover, Chris relies on his faith and his family to help him get through the toughest days. He's also profoundly grateful for the medical team that helped save his life. He quotes, "My doctor and nurses were so great. They made it possible for me to go home to my family and go back to school. I can't thank them enough." So that is it for Chris. I hope you guys really enjoyed his shoe. I personally like the Japanese design. I always liked that stuff growing up as a kid. But not only did I hope you guys enjoy his shoe, but the story to go along with it. So with that being said, we can move on to the next kid, which is going to be Garrett Amerson. Garrett is a 12-year-old boy born in Yamhill, Oregon. His favorite sport is soccer. His favorite hobby is collecting hats. And his favorite school subject is science, and he hopes to become a scientist one day. He was unfortunately diagnosed with extreme prematurity, and I have a clip to go a little into depth with it.
We found out that we were going to have a high-risk pregnancy.
The umbilical cord was connected to the placenta, which Garrett was getting more nutrients than Cooper was. And Cooper wasn't getting enough nutrients, so he wasn't growing as fast.
We went over to OHSU, got checked in. Things kind of started to go a little south, and they were losing the heartbeats on the babies. And so they decided then I was going to go in for an emergency C-section to deliver. So they were born at 25 weeks.
They were very, very small, like they would fit in the palm of my hand.
Babies are in a protected environment when they're in utero, and when they come out of that environment early, they've got a lot of challenges that they need to get through.
Cooper developed 2 brain bleeds, and we lost him after 3 weeks.
During his time in the hospital, Gary got to design the Nike ACG Mountain Fly Too Low. Garrett's outdoorsy shoe is an ode to the Pacific Northwest, with the silhouette of Mount Hood rising up behind the tree line and a waterfall cascading down the tongue. He even added realistic mud splatters so you never have to worry about getting it dirty. For Garrett, the most meaningful feature is the purple butterfly that flits about not just on his shoe, but the other items in his collection as well. It represents his twin brother Cooper, who passed away after a few days in the NICU. His mom says the purple butterfly is placed on the incubator to show that the baby was a part of a multiple pregnancy, and sadly not all the babies survive. Garrett really wanted to do something to honor his brother.
I am Garrett Leroy Emerson, and I am 12. I like to play games. I like to drive my Razor. I drive it mainly just in my field. Luckily, it's a big field. I do like to collect hats. I also like to do jujitsu.
Garrett is definitely a social butterfly. He's curious, wants to know what's happening, how everything works. Even though he's so close to being a teenager, he still has sometimes that little kid at heart. Garrett is an identical twin.
Garrett hopes you'll take his shoe on lots of adventures and wants you to know how much he enjoyed designing it for you. He says, I worked really hard on it because the more it sells, the more kids it will help. That does conclude Garrett's story. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I also hope you enjoyed his shoe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Even though I'm not the biggest outdoors fan, I can still appreciate the detail that he put in it and everything that it attributed to his life. So with that being said, we can move on to the next kid, introducing Haley.
When I was 20 weeks pregnant, so in the ultrasound, I found out that she was coming with a lot of heart problems. She born with only one kidney, no spleen. When she born, she went immediately to NICU. And after 8 days, at 8 days old, she had her first open heart surgery at Doernbecher.
Haley was
While she's not a big fan
with
of all the
a
medical
pretty complex
procedures, Haley
congenital
always
heart
shows up to
defect.
Doernbecher with a smile on her
She
face
is 8
and a
years
style
old,
game that's
and
on
she's
point.
had now
The first time I
5
met her, she was rocking
surgeries.
pink Chuck Taylors
We went
and
back
a
to
leopard fur
Boston
coat
in
recalled
February
Doernbecher
this year
social worker Katie Lee.
for her 5th open heart surgery, and that one has been, it was really, really tough for her, on her body.
I've had 5 open heart surgeries.
Her name is Haley, but you can call her the Queen of Hearts. When she was born, doctors discovered that the chambers, valves, arteries, and veins of her heart hadn't formed correctly, depriving her body of much-needed oxygen. Haley had her first surgery when she was just 8 years old, followed by 4 more surgeries over the years to help her heart function as it should. Haley's keen fashion sense was put to good use on her Air Max 186. She went with a bright pink palette to represent her impressive doll collection and gold accents to match her sparkly personality. For those who love to accessorize, the detachable gold chain can be worn as a bracelet and comes with mix and match charms featuring some of Haley's favorite things like painting, rainbows, and ice cream. On her medical journey, Haley also added a logo that's a replica of her one-of-a-kind heart. Meanwhile, hand-drawn hearts are scattered across the upper, and even the eyelets are heart-shaped. She says she wanted to raise awareness for the other kids like her and have special hearts. That is it for Haley's story. I hope all your thoughts and prayers go out to her. Let me know what you think about her Air Max 186 in the comments down below. Moving on, we do have Hugo, 14-year-old boy born in Oregon. His favorite sports are football and basketball. His favorite food is Chinese food, and he hopes to own his own barbershop one day. Unfortunately, he was born with a rare syndrome that gives him abnormally large birthmarks and blood vessels, and I have a video to show a little insight of him.
And my name is Hugo, and I am 14 years old. I'm in 9th grade at Hermiston High School, and one of my favorite things to do is watch football. And my favorite team is the Seattle Seahawks. I would maybe like to be a coach one day.
Hugo's a very sweet boy. He's very caring. I don't even know where all this strength comes from. Even when it's been hard, he's always thought positive.
Es un niño muy fuerte y quererlo mucho.
In Hugo's case, he's been hospitalized because he's had multiple infections. He's had surgeries because of pain of his affected areas and also blood clots from the swollen vessels.
The hardest times for him were in elementary school, I believe. He would come home and he would cry to me and tell me some kids, they don't want to see my stains because they're darker and they look weird. They would ask him why one of his legs was bigger than his left leg. It was hard for me to see him sad all the time.
Over the years, Hugo has learned to embrace his uniqueness and designed a shoe that encourages others to do the same. On the outsole, you'll find words to live by, "It's okay to be different." Incidentally, Hugo's dad, Ricardo, has a tattoo of the same phrase in Hugo's handwriting. As for those colorful drips of green and blue, those are a nod to Hugo's nickname, Juice, as well as a shout out to his favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks. And because Hugo loves to bring the bling, his custom logo, hang tag, that is interchangeable as a pendant, is plated with 24 karat gold. When he's not playing outside with his brothers, Hugo enjoys playing video games and working as the team manager for his school's football and basketball teams. This style-savvy teen also dreams of owning his own barbershop one day so he can help others look their best. Hugo hopes that this shoe will inspire people to accept and value the uniqueness of others. And to the kids who struggle with bullying, he shared a powerful bit of advice. Just be strong and hold your head high. Everyone is different and being different is awesome. So Hugo was blessed to be able to design the Jordan 3, my personal favorite. So here's some behind the scenes footage of him being able to work with Nike and the hospital.
It just came from Juice. Juice is my nickname. I chose green because of the Seahawks. It's okay to be different. When I saw my product for the first time, that's exactly what I wanted.
Being part of the freestyle program has meant so much to Hugo. I mean, it's just priceless when I see his face.
So that is it for Hugo's story. I hope all your thoughts and prayers go out to him, and let me know what you think about his Jordan 3s in the comments down below. I actually didn't know that about the pendant that comes with it that's going to be 24 karat gold. So hopefully it doesn't raise the retail or make it harder to get, but I actually doubt it because this is a charity type event. But with that being said, we can move on to the next kid, and her name is Macy, a 15-year-old girl born in Washington. Her favorite color is pink. Her favorite things to do is sleeping and baking, and one day she wants to be an ASL interpreter. Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and we can get into the video right now.
I was diagnosed with a brain tumor at age 5.
We had noticed Macy having vision issues, and as it turned out, she was completely blind in one eye. They realized something was dramatically wrong and ordered an MRI.
That was a devastating moment to hear that your daughter has something that's growing in her brain that she could possibly die from.
Selden called us to tell us this. He said not to worry, that we got this. I don't even know that he realizes the impact that those little words made on us in that moment.
I had them stacked up at the end of their bed. That's really all I remember.
It's just hard to sit there and know that she has no idea what she's going through. And that night, you have to wash your kid and make sure that she's completely clean. And yet you take her in the bath and she just, I remember her looking at me and Courtney saying, "Daddy, Mommy, I'm scared."
And they did a craniotomy, opened up the brain, 9 hours. When Macy came out of surgery, and her hair was all braided. And I was like, the neurosurgeon took the time to braid a little girl's hair so that she wouldn't lose her hair. That was this just small little thing that meant so much.
So Macy had a brain tumor called a craniopharyngioma, taken out by surgery and treated also with radiation. But complications of those treatments caused some hormone deficiencies and secondary narcolepsy.
Macy's positivity is evident throughout her Flower Power shoe with the all-over print drawn by Macy herself. The lateral heel sports a gray ribbon symbol on the upper to celebrate her status as a brain cancer survivor. On the midsole, you'll find the phrase that guides Macy in everything she does. She believed she could, so she did. She explains it speaks to the strength and courage that we all have inside. As if you needed any more reason to buy a pair of her Nike Dunk Highs, Macy decided to sweeten the deal. Inside, you'll find the recipe to those soon-to-be world-famous chocolate chip cookies. She says normally the recipe would be top secret, but this is for a pretty great cause.
Once we figured out that she had narcolepsy, and once we started treatment for that, it's been like night and day.
I was able to provide Macy with medications that would enable her to really stay awake and all the things that she was able to do as a growing and healthy child.
During that period of time, Doernbecher treated Macy very well and treated us as a family very well and has ever since.
When I found out about freestyle, I was really excited.
We've known about it from day one, and never in a million years did Macy ever think she'd get to participate.
I am designing the Nike Dunk High. It has my hand-drawn flowers and all my favorite colors. The phrase on my shoes says, "She believed she could, so she did." Like a sweet motivational quote that I've always loved.
It's her personality in that design. The colors, the artwork.
And then to see them come to fruition in real life, it's so Macy, so Macy.
So shout out to Macy. I hope all your thoughts and prayers go out to her. Let me know what you think about her Dunk Highs in the comments down below. I think they should do some type of challenge with her cookies, using the recipe to make a batch of cookies and give it out to the homeless or something like that. They do come around December, Christmas time, so that would be pretty cool. And last but not least, we do have Sydney, age 14, born in Oregon. Her favorite sport is swimming. She hopes to be a lawyer one day. She says drawing in her notebook is her prized possession. And unfortunately, she was diagnosed with juvenile idiopathic arthritis. So here's a video about that.
I nominated Sydney because she was diagnosed with a very complicated condition called juvenile idiopathic arthritis. It's a chronic condition that's associated with joint pain and swelling. This condition has impacts every single day in terms of just being able to get out of bed, go to school, do all the normal things that a kid would do, but it also impacts the ability to do the things that bring them joy, which can include athletics.
It is chronic, and it's not something that you can officially cure and fix. And so knowing that everything I do, I'll always have this underlying disease was difficult to learn about.
Sydney's vibrant shoe is a walking masterpiece filled with her hand-drawn artwork and features fun, interchangeable elements so you can wear it your way. The hibiscus flower represents the Hawaiian leaves her team wears, while the brilliant sunset print inside the shoe is an exact replica of painting Sydney created. Other pieces in her collection are emblazoned with the words "Keep swimming" as a reminder to keep going when life throws you a challenge.
I'm designing the Nike Cortez. I did draw the flowers that are on my shoe. I'm also designing a shirt and sweatpants. On the pants, it says "Keep swimming." For the shirt that I'm designing, I made a painting in gouache that is on the back of it. Working with my Nike team has been really special, and I really like how we've been able to build ideas off of each other, and they've introduced me to new things that I didn't know I could do, and really have made my ideas come to life, and I'm really thankful for everything they've done.
Sydney's blossomed, and I think that this has given her an opportunity to gain confidence, to gain skill, and to gain agency over her condition, which is phenomenal.
So that does conclude Sydney's story. I hope all your thoughts and prayers go out to her, and let me know what you think about her shoes down in the comments down below. Now, that is the last kid for this year's Doernbecher's Freestyle Collection, so I hope this video really showed you the meaning behind these shoes, what these kids really go through, and just the overall background of the Doernbecher Freestyle Collection. Now, with this video ending, I just want to touch up on one last question that always seems to circulate when these shoes start to come out. Is it okay to resell these shoes? Now, these shoes are only sold at select retailers such as Nike/Sneakers, DTLR, Snipes, and Shoe Palace. Now, when they're sold at these locations, all of the profits, 100% of the profits, are given back to the hospital and the kids. So when you resell them, it doesn't hinder the profits. Now, it just comes down to a simple morality. If just another kid who might relate to one of the other kids, their stories, if they want that shoe, maybe you're taking it from them. But honestly, that just goes with the entire resale game. So it's honestly up to you. I feel like it's in that same boat with the reselling of Kobe's, because people are profiting off of his death, but people have been doing that for the beginning of time. And even when we go back on the older Doernbecher models again, like the grails such as the Doernbecher 4s or the Doernbecher 8s, no one really looks at it as the kid's shoe. They kind of just look at it as a shoe that a lot of people really want, or just a really expensive shoe. So honestly, I just think it comes down to your morality at that point. You just have to have at the back of your mind, if you're taking it from another kid or anybody in this world who might relate to that kid in the hospital that's going through their situation. So my personal opinion, I don't think is necessarily wrong. I think you just have to deal with that, and so it's up for grabs. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. And that's everything that I have to talk about on this subject. So with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.